Tyler Ash first in the house tonight, right behind him Bruno Coppola from Laconia, New Hampshire. Mike Draco hitting that smokeoutrally.com tag. Thanks a lot, Mike. Hey everybody, this is Chris with Cycle Source Magazine, getting ready to launch another episode, 203 of Shop Talk. We're going live in just 4 minutes. Tons of stuff to talk about tonight. Sturgis is coming at us like a runaway train or a bullet from a gun. Is probably a better way to talk about that. So fired up for everything going on at Sturgis. We're going to be talking to the guys from Throttle Saloon, Steve Broyles with the Old School Chopper Show, and news. The news everyone's talking about is Magnus and Moss. So stick around, grab a cold drink, kick back, relax, get ready for Shop Talk going live in just 3.5. Let me say some what's up. Nancy Weems in the house, Greg White coming all the way from Texas, Gary Raphael, Professional Monkey here with us, Nancy Weems. I'm raiding Jared's bar tonight. Tom Banks. Now I don't know what to say. Sons of Speed Racer, cross-country chase competitor, 84U and number 21 in the house. Thanks for all the prayers for Cousin Timmy. He's doing much better. Awesome, man. So good to hear. Tony Tello Sr., Medford, Mass. in the house. Tyler Ash, can I have your autograph? Hey, Mark, he must be talking to you.
Is he hitting on you?
It's getting weird here. I'm on my way, Nancy. Professional Monkey's coming over to help out with the bar situation. Hey, lots of great show tonight. Obviously, you know, it's Sunday. We're winding down. We're getting ready for the work week, but the motorcycles were out today. We were on a nice ride. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit. 2.5 minutes we're going live with this one. Make sure you hit the like and share button so your friends and neighbors know when we go live with Shop Talk. Stick around. Robert Brian Jackson, hello from Ringgold, Georgia. Good to see you here, man. Yes, can I have your autograph? Hey, man, like, you do you, boo. Whatever you need. You know, August should be here before long. We'll all be in Sturgis, South Dakota. Jeff Spalding's reminding us. I can't wait to be in Sturgis again. Not that far for us. It's nice to go to church again and see everybody. Man, that's it too, right? Like, honestly, the giant family reunion that South Dakota holds for all of us dirty, degenerate biker bastards once a year. Thank God it's only once a year. There'd be stains on the street. Joe Orsini's in the house. Troy Phillips, Adam Thompson. I hung with JJ Dupree after a gig of theirs in Lynchburg, Virginia. It was a big radio 2-day event called Livestock. Right on. Sean LeBeau going to do the Still Pony Campground Chopper Show again? Absolutely. You know what he's talking about?
No.
No?
No. Explain it to me.
So we have a show out there. It's a nighttime chopper show where everybody dresses up in disco garb.
It's the Pimps and Hoes.
Pimps and Hoes, baby. Pimps and Hoes. That was almost on a bet. Like, someone dared us to do a Pimp and Hoe party. They were like, in today's political climate, you couldn't do stuff like that. We were like, bullshit.
Watch this trick.
That's the Black Hills, baby. All right, we're down to 34 seconds, man. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in tonight. Let's stop our bullshit and get this one out of the station, up onto the tracks. Let's go live with Shop Talk. Here we go. Okay, scooter tramps and chopper jockeys all across the land. It's just after 9 p.m., 9:01. We're getting so good at this.
Oh, boy.
And we're going live with Shop Talk. Thanks to the good folks over at Dennis Kirk. We're in their studio, 50 floors below the street level here at the Cycle Source Magazine World Headquarters. I'm Chris Callen with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm going to be your host for the next 90 to 120 minutes, all the bullshit we can fit from the two-wheel world, joined by the crew.
Two-wheel world.
Everybody, see how I said that? I
Two-wheel
said that
world.
good.
That was like all one word.
Right?
Two-wheel world.
Two-wheel world. Listen, after the weekend that we've all had, we're lucky the three of us are even sitting here.
It's been a rough one. It was a throwing your hair down kind of thing.
Oh man, what a good time though!
Yeah, it was fun seeing some people we haven't seen in a long time.
Absolutely.
Motorcycles running.
We have to send a huge thank you out to the guys from the Pennsylvania and Ohio Hamsters. We were lucky enough to hang out with them this weekend to celebrate the birthday of Ed Kerr, one of the founding members that's from Pennsylvania. And man, like everybody came into the area. You know, we were a nice central meet point for everybody, and we got to hang out, like Mark said, you know, Big Brian and Ricky. Big
Brian brought me a hamburger.
Right? And spent the whole day, the first day, took a nice ride today. Mark was nice enough to drive the run truck for us to rescue our sorry asses if anything went on. But
you know how hard it is to chase a bunch of motorcycles in a big, long quad cab diesel? Stay right on there. And then
you did pretty good.
Yeah, and then they didn't like worry about the little skinny dirt roads with a trailer. Yeah,
but that's our
Wait
guy
till
right
they get
there.
that bill.
79 years old, and we all wish him the happiest of birthday. And it was just a real blast. So thanks to everybody that came out for that. And if we look a little bit haggard, it's because it turns out when you don't do anything to your house for like 6 years, and you have to get ready for actual people to see your shit, it's
rough.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It was worth it, though.
Poor Heather.
She's so quiet.
Well, you guys haven't shut up long enough for me to even say hello.
Oh, no, don't even go there.
Seriously? I didn't even get a hello.
You usually dive right in with your head.
No, because you were all just like blip, 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 blip. You are not talking like you're tired at all, because you're all like blip, 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 blip.
That's all I can do to keep away.
It's going to be a long show, people. I'm telling you right now, because I don't know about them, but I'm kind of delirious. So if at any point my head is down on my desk, it is what it is. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Oh, my God.
No, it was a great time. Hi, Professional Monkey. How are you?
You know when you do that, you sound like Miss Sally, right?
Oh,
Who's Miss Sally?
Oh, here we go again. Sometimes I forget that you are that much younger than me. Miss Sally hosted Romper Room for like ever when we were kids. What's wrong with you?
My brain is broken.
Remember,
I don't
and
know.
she had the mirror, and she would be like, "I see Bobby and Susie," and like
I know what she used that mirror for and why she saw Bobby and Susie. So
listen, man, lots of stuff to get through. Like we said, Sturgis is coming like a runaway train, which is awesome.
I can't wait for Sturgis. I'm so excited.
So much good stuff to do and see out there. But there's a few staples that like you absolutely don't want to miss when you go to Sturgis. You know, we try to cover as much of them as we can. We do lives. We help out with the promotion of some of these shows and stuff. But there's a few shows you absolutely don't want to miss. One of those is the Old School Chopper Show that goes on at the Full Throttle Saloon. Tonight we're lucky enough to have Jesse James Dupree, Michael Ballard, and Steve Broyles in the house to talk about that show and everything that's going on out of Full Throttle.
You know, I think this year we're going to have to change it up just a little bit.
Okay.
boy.
Because every year...
Mark. Here we go.
I'm just saying.
I'm a little scared right now.
You always get to go to the Old School Chopper Show at Full Throttle while I do Vintage Day.
That's because it's a chopper show.
So, yeah, but you're older than me, so you should do
It's
Vintage
an
Day.
old
I'm
school
cooler than
chopper
you, so
show.
I should go to Chopper Show.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
just saying.
So let me make sure I
There's
get this
gonna be a
right
domestic.
for our vintage listeners, our vintage motorcycle aficionados that are tuning in. The chopper show you're saying is where the cool guys are going.
No, I love Vintage Day. I just want to experience something different because honestly, I have not had the pleasure of going to the Old School Chopper Show
Dude, it's
since
a
we
blast.
took since we took Killer in 2015.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think it's my turn.
Let me tell you,
just saying.
if I end up there and work works out correctly, I will be at the old school chopper show, hands down, no questions asked.
It's a blast, man.
Mark,
It's a
you can do
blast.
Vintage Day, and Chris and I will
will.
go to
I
Chopper
won't do real well
And
there.
that
You know me better than
property,
that.
I mean, the property's off the hook. Like it's a great setting. It's always a good time.
Yeah, those guys go out of their way. I mean, Michael and Jesse go out of their way to make your experience when you go to Sturgis every freaking thing it possibly can be. Like these guys, if you see them, go out of your way to thank them because they kill themselves. And Poppy, history in motorcycling, hands down. I mean, just to be with him, and we were just saying that man has the stamina of a 40-year-old. I don't know how he does it. I have no clue how he does it. I need a blood transfusion or something from him.
So Heather, we have a new partner on the show tonight.
Yes,
that you
we
wanted to
do.
announce.
We do. I want to welcome the Chopper Show community to ShopTalk. Actually, I want to thank them for welcoming us to their community. I know it's a quickly growing community that's grown worldwide very, very quickly. I think they started maybe a few years ago, and they're up to 80,000 members. And we're just really happy to be able to be a part of that. So I hope you guys like what we do. We love seeing what you guys are doing on the page. So I think it's going to be a win-win for everybody. Or let me rephrase that. I hope it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
All right, man. So listen, let's get this one rolling. We're gonna go to the interview right now and see what's happening this year at the Full Throttle Saloon.
Just Hanging Out in the Shop is brought to you by Spectro Oils. Made in the USA since 1966, the best oil on planet Earth.
What's up, fellas?
What's
Hey,
up?
how you doing?
Everybody.
I got to say one thing before we go any further.
Okay.
Okay, there's only one person here that I know, actually two people here that work harder than I do in my lifetime, and that's Michael Ballard and Jesse James Dupree. I'm telling you what, those two
buddy.
guys right there can outwork anybody I've ever seen. And I don't know where Jesse gets all of that energy.
Oh, dude, you're
he
not
gets
kidding.
For the times that I see him. I missed him in Detroit. I was out of town, but you were only about 10 miles from me. Huh?
You're such a flirt.
Thank you very much.
and out of the three of us, you're still the best looking one. So. Good to see you guys. And Heather,
sir.
I got to say, you're hanging in there like a hair in a biscuit with those two sons of bitches. Down south, we say you're hanging in there she's hanging in like a hair in a biscuit.
Oh,
I recognize that, Heather, and I salute you.
well, thank you, sir. I certainly do appreciate that.
You come hang out with us and listen. Don't ask them what you're doing. You tell them what you're doing. If you want to go over to other place,
Trust me.
That's usually what happens.
You trust.
send them over there and you come hang out with us. Because I mean,
I'm going to be like,
Whatever the hell
Jesse
you
said
want.
I need to go do this, so bye.
You know.
don't you tell her.
Jesse said.
Or always stirring the pot.
Yeah, right?
Oh, it's not hard to hear either. It's not hard to get her wound up.
Oh, no. And let me tell you, she does a lot of telling. So there's like.
I beg
that's
your pardon.
definitely-
Bless your heart, Mark.
She's really good at telling. She's
we're just
she's
not
a
always
delegator.
good at listening.
Yeah, right.
Heather just whipped out another Southern saying. Bless his heart. I like you just got to add bless his little heart.
Yeah.
That's what you got.
Bless your little heart.
Bless his little heart.
Yeah, don't let her play the victim at all with anyone.
Yeah.
Hey, I always wanted to make a T-shirt, and Michael and I have joked about this in the past. Want to make a T-shirt that says, "She's crazy, he's an asshole, and water's wet."
All true statements.
So this is what's amazing. Like what Steve was saying about the fact that you guys work so hard. You're always going at, like Sturgis. Sturgis seems like there's never 365 days until Sturgis.
Yeah.
It's always in that minus countdown, and the fact that you're running a how many acre daycare center at this point,
600.
600. Jesus. Yeah, I don't even know how you process that.
It's
I really
passion.
Don't.
It's passion for what you do.
Yeah.
It is. It's obvious. I mean, like I said, when you go there and you see what they set up, and dude, it's so cool just to feel the vibe. When you pull in the parking lot, you don't even have to go in the building. You just pull in the parking lot. You can feel it. It's getting revved up, and people are excited.
And that's what I love too, is like getting there every year and seeing the new stuff that you guys have added.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like from all the metal sculpting and the statues out front, and the pieces that it keeps growing. That property continues to evolve. It's so.
I don't know who we told a couple of years ago, don't show up there drunk. Get drunk there, because if you show up drunk, you'll miss so much stuff. Check it out first, you know.
I gotta point out though, guys, that it's amazing, because there's still a lot of people that especially there are a lot of the folks that used to watch the Full Throttle reality TV show that they lost touch when the show went off the air, and a lot of people don't realize that the bar is not only built back, but it's that it's built back bigger in life and twice as ugly, and everything that you guys just acknowledged. I mean, I wish that everyone, and I appreciate the kind words that you said about both of us, but I got to say, I mean, I wish that everyone out there, even the people that come to Sturgis, I wish you just stop for a minute and think about the devastating blow that Michael experienced when his brainchild of the original Full Throttle burnt down to the ground, and it was $10 million worth of ashes and a lot of hurt feelings, because there was no insurance on that place. And a lot of people don't realize that either. And there was no running water on the Full Throttle Saloon property of the original Full Throttle. Michael had to tank all that water in by tanker truck every year. Of course, we didn't have 5,000-6,000 people staying there either. Like we do now on the new property, which we do have. We do have water onto the property after a substantial investment. But the fact that place burnt down, and it was such a moment in time. And I'll tell you right now, the original Full Throttle was such a special place to me, and as it was to so many people. And even to the extent that if I could have it back today, I'd give anything to have it back today. But to Michael's credit, Mike, he sucked it up and he doubled down. We went out and found that 600 acres that were sitting out there ready to be, turned into the damnedest beyond Thunderdome for people who love beautiful motorcycles, beautiful women, and a cold belly washer, which happens to be Full Throttle Saloon Shine and Jesse James bourbon. And if you haven't been out there and looked at it, just stop for a minute and realize what came up out of the dirt. I mean, I watched Michael bring that place up out of the ground in 90 days, and it was an amazing, and it's a shame that no one will ever know what occurred within about 90 days of taking over that property to start bringing that out of the ground. And you're right, Chris. I mean, it hasn't let up every single year. Just like the old Throttle, every year there's new attractions and stuff, but on 600 acres, instead of 35 acres in the past, there's now 600. So the stakes are higher, the builds are bigger, and the party's louder and stronger, and you got to come and check it out.
Well, and the fact that Michael was able to accomplish that in that time period is absolutely, and along with your help, Jesse, because we know that you guys are a team, but it is a true testament to the passion and the drive to see a vision come to fruition that gets that done. And it's that not quit attitude that I think everybody feels when they get there, because they do know it is passion driven.
Yeah.
Well, Michael gets it built out, and then I run around with my big mouth screaming, "Come look at this! Y'all come look at this!" I'm all over the I'm on stage and radio and everywhere else screaming, "Y'all got to come and see this! It's unbelievable!" So
you know what though, and I mean, listen, that's
I'm very proud of what we've got going on out there, and we do have. The great thing about it is, you can party, and used to there was a closing time. But now there's not a closing time. The bar may have to shut down for a few hours to clean up and get ready for the next morning, because the mornings are strong and hard. But the party moves right out into the campground, and it's just an incredible facility. 600 acres. We have the Olympic-sized swimming pool. We just refurbed that last year. It's beautiful. We got action going on throughout the entire week up at the pool. There's a pool party every single day. It's open to the public. It's open to the rally, so you don't have to be staying on our property to come and enjoy the swimming pool. We have an all-you-can-eat breakfast and buffet. I'm going to tell you right now, we have the best breakfast in all of Sturgis. And you can think, well, yeah, big deal. I'm telling you right now, when you're out there and you hit night number 2 and night number 3 of partying, that breakfast is the most important thing that happens.
You damn
we
right.
got the best breakfast in all Sturgis there at the Pappy Oil Campground. You go in, we got a convenience store. We got beer to go. We got all your snacks, your bread, your deli meats, all that stuff. We got everything going on. We have the firing range. You can shoot 50 caliber guns and Uzi machine guns. We bring in cars and vans for you to blow up. We got parachuting off the backside of the property. You can go. We've got our own damn runway now. Can you believe that?
You sound a little excited about this.
Yes, because I got an argument with somebody. So we got an airport back behind the property now, and somebody's going, well, it's not a real airport. Well, I just found out there's a damn piece of paper that we got that puts us on the national registers of runways out there, so everybody can kiss my ass. We got
I want to ride in the jet.
Yeah, right.
I want to go parachute. Like, you literally can parachute there now?
You go out there and get an airplane. You can go up there and you parachute down, stumble back in the door, have a dang drink.
That's a bucket list for me. Yeah.
Come on.
Well, we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though, man, and I mean, like, you know, not to take anything away from your persona, because whether you're on stage, you know, performing with the band, or, you know, making announcements, or the stuff that you're doing in promotion of the property, it's way more than anything physical out there. As cool as the statues are, as cool as the property is, as cool as all the attractions, we found out when we did our Sturgis 80-year documentary, sitting down with you, like it's an honest place where that comes from. You love this shit, and you'll never beat somebody. You never beat somebody that loves what they're doing, you know, because you're all that stuff that you're adding to that, you add to it because that passion drives you to do it, because it's, hey, what would be cool for me and my buddies to do. That's where it always comes from.
And
first.
I do have a question for this, because Michael, I know you kill yourself, you do so much, and you've made all this tuition, or, you know, come to life with the original, the fire. You made it happen again. Jesse, how do you separate your passion from? I mean, obviously, I'm sitting here looking at this, and the probably a real close piece to your heart is that guitar you're leaning on. Like, through this whole thing, how do you separate the two? I mean, it seems like you have so much energy going in so many different directions. It obviously comes out in your music. It definitely is in the passion of the Full Throttle itself. So where do you find the energy?
Well, that's the same place where Michael and I came together when we first met over a couple of decades ago. 23
years ago.
Yeah, and I grew up driving nails and pouring concrete, and Michael's dad owned the largest tile company in all of Eastern Tennessee, and Michael was on his knees grouting tile, and at a young age when he was a teenager, and my first year of summer break, when I was in between a sophomore and a junior, I thought I was going to have a summer vacation, and the door opened up to the basement where my bedroom was built temporarily downstairs in the basement. And my dad said, "Get up, boy, you got a job." So I went and toted lumber and drove. So Michael and I both, we in all honesty, we both wake up every single day having anxiety that it's all been a dream, and that he's got to grout tile and I got to go pour concrete or drive nails, and both of us, when we realized that it hadn't been a dream, and that we've been two of the luckiest sons of bitches in the world to find things that we love to do, whether it's music or building motorcycles like Michael has got a passion for, or building the Full Throttle out, or just hugging the necks of everybody that shares the same passions that we do. I mean, we both grew up on dirt bikes and looked at Harley Davidsons and thought one day we'll own one, and it meant something to both of us. I mean, I've said before, the day that I bought my first Harley Davidson was the day I felt like I became my own man.
Yeah. I remember that from our interview.
Yeah, and if somebody don't understand that, then you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're missing.
And I do understand. I had, not even remotely close to what Mike went through. I had a little body shop I worked my ass off to get, and it burned to the ground. And I swore my father owned a construction company, and I swore when I was about 20, I'd never touch a nail or a piece of wood or a piece of tile ever again. tomorrow I'm going to grout a kitchen and put some tile in a bathroom. So I know. I mean, I went from that. Luckily, I learned all that when I was a kid, and now I own a construction company, and that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I know your pain, and it's obvious. It comes out of you that you two have pushed so hard. And I think the greatest part about it is you haven't done it for yourself sometimes, I feel, as much as you've done it for those people that work their asses off to come spend 2, 3, 5 days walking through the doors of your bar. So to give you that credit to giving these people a lifelong dream's awesome, man. It truly is.
One of the most touching parts of the interview with you, Jesse, when we were doing that was you talking, you were conveying the stories about people that come up to you and either asking for permission to spread ashes of somebody that they lost, or telling the story about, the fact that they've done that, and that property's the hallowed ground, that they have finally put to rest someone that they loved, that was their final request in life.
Sturgis, it's not just taking a vacation or making a trip out to the Black Hills, which it is. But it's, if you really want to be honest with it about, and this, I can say this on this show because ShopTalk really appeals, and the people that are dialing into your show are the true diehards. They're the people that will know. It's hard for me to say this on other interviews because half the people, you lose them.
Yeah.
But I can say this honestly, going to Sturgis, you're making a pilgrimage. Amen. It's like going back to the Holy Land, Yeah. I mean, it weeds out the lightweights. I mean, you're 1,700 miles from anywhere to get there, but yet it's worth every single mile. It's worth every single inch to get there. You experience a sense of freedom in a way that you really can't understand what I'm saying unless you've been there and you stood on those plains and looked out across the prairie, or you go to, you got Mount Rushmore, Crazy Horse, Deadwood, Devil's Tower, the Badlands, and the Full Throttle Saloon, which is one of the 7 wonders of the world. You got all of that setting right there, and you're in the middle of all of it. And if you can't swell up with pride, and if you can't stop and really put things in perspective with what's going on with these assholes in Washington D.C., and I say that with both parties. I don't give a damn. Right. Neither one of those parties really are as focused as they should be. If they would come out there and stand on this prairie and think about the fiber of the man that loaded his family up in a covered wagon and set out there to make his fortune and settle that part of the United States and then beyond on into California. So, but I mean, it's just that if you go look at Crazy Horse and you go look at what it took for him to take and blow up that mountain. Mount Rushmore is great. Yeah. But I mean, you could put Mount Rushmore in Crazy Horse's ear. But you go look at the fiber in the men that settled that part of the country, and the fiber of the men that settled up in Deadwood. And Michael and I have the Deadwood Distilling Company and the Bloody Nose Saloon up there in Deadwood, and just a couple of doors down from Saloon Number 10. And just to be part of that town's history, just the fact that that we've got real estate right there where those legends that carved out the gold rush. I mean, trust, none of it goes past us lightly. None of it.
Well, and I'll tell you what, man. You talk about the endurance and the intestinal fortitude of people that went through that area, and even when you're talking about Crazy Horse, my favorite thing is going into watch the film and hearing the story again and again about the guy that did that, and specifically was doing it by himself, and talks about how he would go up that stairway to get to the top of that thing every day, and sometimes he'd be up and down that ladder the whole way to the top 4 or 5 times because the compressor would cut out.
Yeah, the Native Americans bought him an air compressor so he could get it fired up, and it took him over 1.5 years to build the steps up the side of that mountain before he could even start blowing things up. And he finally got the air compressor, and it would help him drill down in to be able to stick the dynamite so he could be more productive. And he'd get halfway up that mountain, and it would go kaput, back down that mountain I would go and start, when he started, he was a young debonair guy with a little mustache.
Right.
He had won the World's Fair, and he slicked back hair, and he just a cat about town, and he was a Polish immigrant, and and he goes out there and he dies, and before he dies, he's a big burly mountain man, and he married a woman from I guess South Dakota, and he fathered 10 kids, and 8 of the 10 kids are still working on it.
Yeah, I'd have had 10 kids too, with all the rungs on that damn ladder. Somebody start that compressor.
Yeah, it's funny because you can feel that, when you go and see Crazy Horse. Like you said, the epic size of it, man. You can just, and I think anywhere out there, and again, that speaks right for you two. I mean, which is a great mix because, like you'd said before, you're outspoken, you're blam in everybody's face, and during this whole thing, I can see Michael thinking, God, I got to do this, or it's time for this to get done. I got something else to do. Like it's such a great team. And it also brings, you guys hold that passion. You bring that, you keep it going. Like you're still doing it. 2022, you guys are still doing the same passion that guy did when he started Crazy Horse. So give yourselves a round of applause, I guess, in all reality, for keeping that going, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. Who would have ever thought a damn motorcycle would started all this shit?
Right.
Michael, I have a
But
question.
it did for both of us. We both grew up riding bikes since we were kids, but Sturgis is, to Jesse's point, he said it the other day just in passing in conversation to me that, Sturgis is one of the last Americana style events that's even left in the country.
Oh, yeah.
That people check their damn politics at the door and they can come to this event and share in this event. And everybody just loves everybody. I mean, it's awesome. Going to Crazy Horse and standing there looking at people's faces and not even talking to them or knowing them people, but watching the feeling that comes over them, the same feeling you have. That they're having that same exact feeling you're having when you're looking at Devil's Tower or Mount Rushmore or any of the iconic places and the history that this place holds. It is, it's just but Sturgis, as far as the rally goes, man, what an event. I mean, honestly, to me, I've been to so many different rallies around the country, and I've been to so many different places and other events, not even motorcycle driven. And they just, for some reason, this state, this rally is the core of all events that I've ever been to. That none of them have ever been able to top this rally for me personally. Sturgis has always been from day one. It just, as soon as you hit town here, forget it. As soon as you start coming into the state of South Dakota, you feel like you're at home.
Your blood starts pumping, right? It does, yeah.
I think the greatest thing about Sturgis Rally is it can be whatever you want it to be. Yep. If you want it to be a party every day, all day, it can be a party every day, all day. If you want it to be riding, if you want it to be spiritual and go up to Bear Butte, it can truly be whatever you choose for it to be. And I don't think there's any other rally in the country that has the ability to do that for people.
The other ones
if you want to go
scheduled.
to a bike show every day, if you want to go to a different kind of racing every day, it's there.
Absolutely. And it's become between what we do at the Throttle, what he does over at the Chip, what the guys do down at the Iron Horse, to all of the other smaller bars and across the whole brother Deadwood, Hill City. I mean, the cool thing with this place is it's just not Sturgis only, right? So within 100-mile radius, every one of these little towns are closing their main streets down for bikes only, and they got vendors popped up. And so everywhere you go, you're experiencing motorcycles. And for that 10 days, unlike going to Daytona, for instance, the motorcycles way outpopulate all the automobiles in this place. So you feel like you're at a real true motorcycle event, and every compass, as soon as you hit the state, go into the pilots, and you're starting to see Sturgis stuff, and you'll start getting a feeling for it. But the cool thing is the friendships, the relationships, the camaraderie between friends, that's been built here, like people staying next to each other and camping, becoming friends. Hell, they start living together for 10 days, and then all of a sudden they call back wanting reservations. I gotta be by Bob over there. Me and him, man, we hit it off last night. We talk all the time now, and so it becomes an annual event that it's like a whole family coming together one time a year for a family reunion.
Yeah, I said this will be if I, pandemic, then, family illness. If I don't make it work-wise, this will be 3 years. This is the first 3 years in 20-some years that I haven't been there. And you just said it, Michael. I miss my family. I miss the people that I enjoy spending those 10 or 5, whatever. If I can make it for 2 days, whatever it is. It's like going home a lot of times. Sturgis is probably one of my favorite places in the United States. But I miss those. You said it perfectly. You miss those people. You miss that atmosphere. And if you've never been there, you got to go look at it. You got to go feel it. It's definitely a feeling.
You guys would be amazed about how many people that I run into right here in Sturgis or Deadwood around this area. And I get to talking to them and I say, hey, where are you from? Well, I was from so-and-so, but I came to the rally. I fell in love with this place and they never left.
Yep.
They just they went and got a job after the rally. They found a place to live and they just stayed here. So it's amazing, how many people I run into like that. But it's the event. It's everything encompassed. It's the event, the people. But hell, we can, your buddies and people within this industry, hell, we can be in a damn dive bar off the worst interstate there is. But if we're all together, we're
that's
all
right.
Amen.
Family feeling, and you still have it. So this whole culture is just, it's phenomenal, and it's I thank my mom every day or my dad for buying me that little Honda 50 back when I didn't but so, because that's what started all of this for me, and it created such a large family. And I've been super blessed to be able to have a dream and build a Full Throttle. Before the Throttle was ever built, I had the name of the bar for about 3 years before I ever even bought the property or started. It was a dream to own a biker bar. And I didn't know where I wanted to do it until I came to Sturgis. And the first time I came to Sturgis, I said, this is the town.
Yeah.
And so I've been blessed by so many different ways, even though I've had my tragedies and we've made it through the fire and lucky enough to fight our way through that. It's still a blessing at the end of the day. We're working hard and rebuilding, but I wouldn't take nothing in the world for where we are today. I mean, it's just, I'm truly blessed to be here.
I think that's kind of a South Dakota rite of passage, though, especially on that side of South Dakota. Almost every business, everybody that's ever been there has a story of tragedy. Something horrific they had to endure. The whole town of Deadwood burning down. It's wrought with that. And those were the wages of taking a chance of having something different in your life. We talked about in 80 Years in a Day too, that the fact that people that ended up there were looking for something different.
Go ahead. You can say it.
The enduring pioneer spirit. There.
I was waiting for it.
You got to do
this.
You got to do this. The enduring pioneer spirit.
But there was so much amazing things that were born out of tragedy and trials and tribulations and just the people. It's a different breed of people out there. I hate to say it, but I mean that's the only way I can put it in plain English. It's incredible. Yeah, I mean, look at the friendships. I mean, that's like me and Steve, for instance. How many years, Steve, we've been in this now? Since
this is our 16th year doing the show, but me and you have known each other for about 25 years now, I think. Yeah, we met long before you even had Full Throttle.
Yeah, back in building bikes days of doing these bike shows across the country with John Green and all that bunch, and just so I'm got to meet years ago, and Indian Larry and all them guys before the Throttle ever existed. I was building bikes and into shows, and we were having, just a passion of being into motorcycles. But 16 years now, we've been doing a bike show together, and here we are, 5 weeks away from another one.
Yep. But you know what? We're sitting good. We're sitting really good. Oh yeah. But you know what? We took a chance 2 years ago when I don't think anybody else was out there, and I wanted to just make a mention of that. And you had a vision, and you called me and you said, hey, what do you think? And I said, you know what? I said, what does everybody think? You think we should do this? Remember, everybody was backing out of it. Everybody. They had trailers parking on the main street. See you next year. Do this, do that. And, we said, hey, the hell with that. We're coming. We know people are coming because the passion never leaves. Okay? Yeah. They're coming home. That's what I call Sturgis. Home. And when I get there, just... the camaraderie is just not just one person. It's the whole town.
Right.
You know, and I've got a saying. I want to put it on a T-shirt. Okay, so here it is. Okay, still playing motorcycles.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what we're doing, boys. We're still playing motorcycles. I don't care. It goes right back. It goes all the way back to when you were a kid in the dirt with little toy cars and little toy motorcycles,
right,
running them around. Right, we were playing. That's what we were doing. We graduated to bicycles, and then we graduated to motorcycles, and we're still playing. I mean, think about it. There's nobody else that has a better life than we got playing.
I can to testify that. To testify to that, I can remember one of the worst ass whoopings I ever got from my dad was he bought me a damn Huffy bicycle, and I took a hacksaw and I cut the fork off the damn thing and stuck it on a shitty bicycle I had, and I had a chopper going down the road. The whole forks off that damn Huffy bicycle and made a chopper out of it. So I'm with you on that. It never ends. It's fun.
You look at Jesse. You take this to the people.
Yeah.
Okay. When you go out and you play your music, and I've been in the rock and roll world. I know what it takes to do that. It's a grueling time, and I commend you. I really do, because you go out there all the time and do it. You know, over and over again.
Jackyl's celebrating 30 years this year, and coincidentally, and just by the luck of the draw, and I swear to God on my kids, this is a true story. 30 years ago, the first Jackyl album was released. August 11, 1992. 30 years to the day, August 11, our annual Thursday night show at the Full Throttle Saloon. You could not script it.
Yeah, right.
So that 30th anniversary celebration is going to be a big one. And we're going to make sure it's a night to count. And we're giving away a brand new 2022 Harley Davidson Road Glide Special right in the middle of the Jackyl show as part of the Rolling Sturges campaign that we're proud to be partnered with the Harley Davidson Motor Company and the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW organization. There's no one out there that supports military and our veterans any more than the VFW does. Those guys are incredible. We're proud to have them based out of the Full Throttle Saloon, Pappy Hoyle Campground every year. And I've hugged the neck of so many of the recipients of the grants that the VFW gives to the veterans that find themselves in financial hardship from being deployed or injured. And we've raised over $250,000 in just shy of 2 years between all of our Harley Davidson dealerships across the country, between the radio station partners, the shows that we've played, the Full Throttle Saloon and the Pappy Hoyle Campground, the annual Pappy Hoyle charity motorcycle ride that we do every year on the Wednesday. This year we're doing the charity Pappy Hoyle ride out of the Full Throttle Saloon Pappy Hoyle Campground. We'll meet up at the Pappy Hoyle for breakfast like we normally do. And the money goes to, some of it goes to the VFW Unmet Needs Program. And then Angie, she always likes to pick a local charity, and her and Michael, that goes back to the community of Sturgis and such. So it's a good cause, and it's a good day of riding. And we're going to be doing, and Britt and Richard from Blackberry Smoke's going to be riding with us this year.
They're
playing at Full Throttle Saloon this year, but Britt and Richard are going to ride with us in the Pappy Hoyle ride this year on the Wednesday. It's going to be, let's make it the biggest ride ever that we've ever had. It's a great time. We go up there, Spearfish Canyon. We dump out into Deadwood up there. We give everybody a sack lunch, just like Pappy and Pearl Hoyle used to serve all of their attendees of the rally when it started 82 years ago now. And we serve them a sack lunch there at the Deadwood Distilling Company and the Bloody Nose Saloon. And then we just celebrate again another year, another trip around the sun for us to be able to do what we do and enjoy the fraternity out there in Sturgis.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, so
here's the one.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to add this to it. So Jesse didn't hit on it, but I'm going to hit on it. So Thursday night, it's like Jesse said, you couldn't have scripted this. 30 years later to the date that Jackyl plays, everybody knows that Thursday night is Bikers Ball at the Full Throttle Saloon. It's been going on for 22 years. This year, we're going to have a free concert. No cover charge Thursday night for the Jackyl show.
Oh, right on.
Coming, going to be free show, free concert that night. You don't have to pay. The doors are wide open. Throw down and celebrate 30 years of Jackyl and 22 years of the Full Throttle Saloon.
Right on. That sounds
good.
That sounds like awesome. A party.
Yeah.
So
that should
we originally we asked you guys to come on to talk about the old school show, but I want to give Jesse a special thanks because you had some other thing going on tonight that we kind of pulled you away from.
Yeah, when Michael and I, when we were doing the Full Throttle Saloon reality TV show on the Turner Network, we worked with a great executive named Jim Pascarella. And Jim, I hadn't spoken to Jim in a couple of years, and he reached out recently, and he goes, "Hey, man," he goes, "I'm over at the History Channel now." And I went, "All right," so he's producing shows over there. And you've probably seen those shows, The Food That Built America and The Machines That Built America.
Love those.
They do such a phenomenal job. And he goes, "Yeah," he said, "I've got a show that's right up your alley." And you kind of brace yourself when you hear that. You don't know how people they could associate you with stuff that you don't really. Yeah, it's about building mopeds.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? You never know what they're going to associate you with. But he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I got a show right up your alley. He goes, I'd love for you to be part of it. It's the booze, bets, and sex that built America." And I said, "Okay, I'm in."
Yeah.
And the timing worked out great because not only did that show come about at the same time, and as far as the show being released, but it came out the same week that we just released a brand new single called "Get All Up in It" now. And the video on YouTube, we were looking at the video yesterday. It's like it's almost 280,000 views just in a couple of weeks' time. And on those, it's called "Get All Up in It," and we're going to be thumping it out as we celebrate Jackyl's 30th anniversary at the Full Throttle Saloon on August the 11th. Michael just made the news. It's a free show. Michael's he's going to bite the bullet and make it a free show for everybody. And I'm still going to charge him double.
Yeah, I had said earlier that I was working in the shop doing a bite table for a good friend of ours. And I come in, and if the TV's on 90% of the time, that's what it is. And I hear this voice. I'm in the kitchen getting something to drink. I'm like, I've peeked my head around the corner, and I'm like, what the hell's he doing on there? Like I was pretty impressed. You have such a wide variety, though. You fit in so many places, and that's what I'd said before. You know, people may point you at Jackyl directly or music. Man, you go in many different directions. In that 80th Sturgis, dude, I took a whole nother look at you after that interview with you. Like, you go so deep that people really need to look into, you a little more and Full Throttle a little more and where it all comes from, because it's so interesting to see the passion and the life that you put into this. It's
and hear that
fantastic.
Story, the backstory.
Oh, it's great.
The backstory about your life and how you got to where you are today is inspiring.
Yes, it is.
I have a question.
Well, thank you guys for saying that. And we again, we don't take any of it for granted. And Michael and I, we hooked up 22, 23 years ago, however long it's been, and we've never looked back. And it's rare in life that you just fall back into something that you couldn't script any better than it has been. And I'm scared to even stop and talk about it any more than we already have, because I'm afraid it'll all disappear. It's one of those kinds of things. And I say that with all honesty. And when you come out and it is tiresome. You compare it to, you remember when you were growing up, you'd see the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Yeah.
And Jerry Lewis, by the end of his weekend of raising money for muscular dystrophy, he would be whipped and wore out and exhausted. And then you stop and you look at what it takes to get the Full Throttle Saloon up and jam it out for those 10, 12 days that it has to go, and everything that it takes for us to have, if you think about it, every single person that's going to Sturgis, no matter where they're staying, no matter where they want to go, at different places, at one point or another, they're all going to be on the property.
Right. And
just like we were talking about Crazy Horse, when you stand there and you look at it, Michael was talking about how you're just in awe of something like that. Or people are the same way when they walk in the door of the Full Throttle. It's one of those places that you can't lay too big of shoes out for it to fill. Right. I can tell people about it all day long, and they're still going to walk in the door and go, what the? I mean, it's just like, and Michael, just like Borglum and those other guys, he's built that. And so we're ready for 2022. We welcome everybody to come out there. I look forward to hugging. I think we've hugged everybody's neck that comes through, and we look forward to doing it again. Steve comes out there, puts on a great event. I'm always proud when I'll be in the middle of pushing a porta-john over to somebody's cabin or something, and Steve will go, "You got to come and vote on a motorcycle."
Come and pick your bike. Come and pick your bike.
Michael, I have a question for you. Now, I know that your passion drives Full Throttle. Where do you get your creativity and inspiration from? Because, like, the things that you just the whole property, everywhere you look, there's something cool to look at. Like, where does that artistic and creative process come for you?
Well, to what Jesse was talking about, was I grew up in the ceramic tile business. So my dad, going in and selling jobs and learning that and watching them, pick out stuff, and then being around construction my whole life and houses and things like that. The building and construction started at an early age for me, and then getting into building motorcycles and trying to come up with creative parts and things to do to build the bikes with, that type of thing. Back in the mid '90s, just kind of meshed into the construction world. So the bike building and construction meshed for me. And then when I started building this place, after the old Throttle burnt down, I knew I could build the exact same replica of what I had before. But some bitch would walk through the door and say, "This place ain't as good as the other place." And
right.
Difference in it. So I was in my shop in Tennessee. There's one machine in this building that started it all for me. I had an old timey drill press, it's an old mill machine, but it's run with a leather belt and a Model A transmission. So somebody had rigged up this old mill machine. I bought it from some old guy, but it had first, second, and third gear. And so I was in my shop one day. I was killing myself to try to figure out what I wanted the bar to be. And then I was sitting there looking at that machine, and I was like, "That's it. That's that old guy that I bought that machine from, that came out of his little bitty garage shop that he had, and the equipment, the stuff that built this country to get it to where we are today. It all started running together with the bike building, and all of our customer base and all of my friends and everybody I know, heck, they're ranching on hot rods and race cars and bikes, and it just all fit together. But I spent a lot of hours out here at night just trying to come up with what's the right thing, to do and put into the atmosphere of the place. I've always been fascinated by scrap yards and junk yards. You can turn me loose in a junkyard, I'll be lost for a day.
Me too. Yeah.
So I've just always been creative, wanting to pull. I've always, growing up, we were poor, so I had to make chicken salad out of chicken shits. What I tell people.
Amen.
Long enough, and then finally you get a little bit of cash flow. It helps a lot in being able to create. But I love going into junkyards and scrap yards and finding stuff and get a vision for stuff that's buried under stuff and say, "Hey, I can take that and build this out of it," and then do it. It's just that's the part I enjoy. I enjoy the creativity of building a place. And like I said earlier before we went live, was that right now it's crunch time for us. We're 5 weeks out, and the hardest part for us is now. The rally is easy. It's getting ready for the damn thing for us.
Right.
Is where we're busting 20 hours a day, 16, 18 hours a day. So by the time the rally hits, my crew, we're burnt.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, so a lot of it I think comes from me building bikes back in the day, having hot rods, and I still have an old Camaro I had from the time I was 22 years old that I've never sold, and just ranching on race cars and just kind of getting that, and then finally putting my together for the Full Throttle. And what I wanted this bar to be is just, I wanted to be different than anybody else or any other place you ever walk into, no matter what country you're coming from, because this event pulls people from all over the world. And when they get this door, one of the greatest feelings I got is when I'm just standing off in the corner and I watch people's face when they walk through that door, and I see it just, they're just eyes big, their mouth drops open, and that to me, that's the best satisfaction I could get.
I think
immediately.
I think it's obvious when you walk through the door there that the history of it comes from people that have the backing, like you're saying, the passion from being kids and stuff like that. because it's like everything that you want when you walk through the door. If you look and pay attention, you're going to find it somewhere.
I
No
love seeing
asked.
the guys that explaining what things are made from and what that was and what this what that used to be.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I got guys here that are in their 70s and are like, I spent my whole life running this machine, and they can tell you every day about that machine and what it does and how it works, and I'll tell you, the one thing about it, you could crank up every one of these machines tomorrow if we had to start building stuff again. So
Steve, if we can for a minute come to you and talk about the history of the show, because that just hit me when you said that 16 years now. 16. Tell everybody a little bit about where the beginning of the show, like where it came from, how we're at this point.
Well, we started the show, of course, a long time back, 16 years ago, and it's just not a bike show. Okay, that's the whole key about this thing. It's not a bike show. Everybody goes, it's a bike show. I goes, yeah, okay, it's a bike show. I think it's actually a social network meeting place. That's the way I want it to be. I want it to be a fun place. I want people to come and have time to talk with people that are there, that are people of their own liking. The network that goes on there. All the people that come to this show are all people that have the same thing in common. And I don't care if you're riding a dresser. I don't care if you're riding a chopper. I don't care if you're riding a BSA, a Honda, or whatever you're riding. You're coming there because we're still playing motorcycles, okay? And we all have a passion for what we do, okay? And this show that we come in with, there's no winner, which is the greatest thing about this show. There's no winner. There's no categories. There's no, I took first place, so you get this prize. You get a prize whether you get a plaque or you don't get a plaque. It doesn't matter. We do this show a whole different, and we've been trying to, and I'll tell you right now, people have tried to duplicate this show and have never been able to duplicate it. Because we ask probably 15 or 20 of our closest friends and people like Burt Baker, Bill Dodge, Jeff Cochran, Darren McKay. I mean, I can sit here and name them all. I've got a whole list of them right here that we could name everybody in this list that's here that are going to be there to pick a motorcycle of their choice. And of course, Jesse and Michael will come out and pick one that they like. And we give them a plaque, and your bike was chosen by. And
make sure you change my name, Chris's name, to my name for this year.
I will do that. I will do that for you, Heather. Okay, your bike was chosen by Heather Gallen.
Don't encourage her.
Why not?
Feed the fire.
I expect maybe they'll get like with Bill. Bill will pick a bike and it'll be in a BC motor. Randy from Cycle Showcase, you'll pick a bike for Cycle Showcase, and Bert's going to pick something and he'll give somebody a trophy that he likes the best. And so it goes on and on. The whole point of it is this year we're going to be giving away a lot of stuff. We've got 2 Springer front ends. We've got jackets from 2 Springer front ends from Mid USA, along with a bunch of other stuff that they're providing for us, like they did last year. Last year we gave away a frame. That was great. You can try to see the guy looking at it going, okay, what am I going to do with that? How am I going to get that home on my motorcycle? So I take it with me, and later on they come and pick it up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Springer front ends, jackets, helmets, swag. We got companies that are out there. I've got a list of companies that I could just name off that are product wise. Just keep your eyes open. We'll be pushing this product real heavily here shortly.
And what date do we?
We're on Monday. We're on Monday, the 9th.
Just make sure we get that there.
Yeah, let's get that in there.
The Full Throttle
Saloon. I'm sorry, Monday the 8th.
You want to be out there on Monday the 8th. That's right.
Yeah, there we go. My 9th was last year. I'm still on Monday. I'm still on last year, Michael.
So, it's probably the longest running bike show in Sturgis. 16 years straight.
It is.
I mean, that's a longevity right there, and it's a given now. I mean, we've always had it on that Monday, and I think people know they just plan it. It's a destination on that Monday to what Steve's talking about, and all the great builders are out here, and it's just great. Everybody's standing around drinking beer, looking at everybody's new builds and talking, and it is a great social event. That's what it's about.
So when they come out there, the best part about this, they come out, of course, we're going to give them an event shirt for free. You sign up, you register, it's for nothing. The show is free. That's what this big thing is. Free, like the second best letter F words. That's the whole point of that. So, but we have, just a whole lot of sponsors that have stepped up to the plate. Baker, Bling, Toast, Shop, Drag Specialties, Mid USA, Top Coat, which comes out to see you guys too all the time. And they've been out with us for years now. And what we do is we give you a ticket, a number for your motorcycle when you register your bike. And you keep your little ticket with you, and we'll draw tickets out just like you're at a rally or just like at a little event that, we roll it out in the drum and we get somebody up there and they pull a ticket, and guess what? You won a prize. You could win front end, you could win a jacket, a helmet, a frame, who knows? But thousands of dollars worth of stuff will be given away that day. And I know that if you can't catch, you can't go home without a t-shirt. I'm telling you right now, because
That's awesome.
we give away more swag than anybody I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's one of the coolest things too, because you'll be, there. I've had the honor of picking a bike there for Steve, which is fantastic. And like, you'll be standing there BSing away. If I can remember, it was me roadside and Bill Dodge, and you come up with this huge box and just said, "Here, give this away." And dude, for like 20 minutes, we're throwing shirts and we're throwing crap out to people. And I've said it many times. Willie's Tropical Tattoo and Old School Chopper Show, probably the two best shows, and from times. You talk about from one extreme of the country to the other, definitely two shows you should not miss if you travel the event circuit.
Yeah, they're great. And one of the things this year too, we got another show that we finally locked in, and that's going on Wednesday. Is we got the Mama Tried Bike Show at the Throttle this year. It's the first annual. The guys from Mama Tried with Warren and Scott and all and Jeremy and them they're coming this year to the Throttle, and we're going to be having the Mama Tried Bike Show on Wednesday. So we're expecting a big turnout for that one also. It's going to be a really cool day that day, and we're excited to have them guys on board. And we have a Mama Tried pool party we're doing up at the Pappy Hoyle campground with them, an event we're doing. And so we're excited we're going to have a little bit
that's
of
on the first.
Go ahead.
That's the first Sunday.
Yeah, the first Sunday on the pool party. So we got several things happening with them throughout the week, and we're going to be doing some of the fun little flat track racing around the bar here, and on some mini bikes and raising some hell. So it should be some fun times.
And we've got the Mama's Tried. We were dedicating an area to the Mama's Tried. All of the fans of Mama's Tried. We got a special area for you to camp at the Sturgis County line area at the Pappy Hoyle campground. So if you're a fan of the Mama's Tried, you want to stay, you can go to the Pappy Hoyle campground or show up out there and get ready to go, because we've got a special area dedicated to the Mama's Tried guys. So that'll be cool.
Had a dedicated special area for the out of controlness that might happen at that side of the campground.
Well,
how come you never gave me one of them out of control campground sites there?
I know for sure that on Monday, August 8th, I will be at the Old School Chopper Show, and I might actually bring Chris. Well, no, wait a minute. I have a compromise.
Oh boy.
Hear me out.
Let's hear this.
There will be a catch.
It's August 8th. It's at Full Throttle Saloon, which is at the base of Bear Butte, which is our anniversary. August 8th is our anniversary. So if we go to the Chopper Show together, we can visit the base of Bear Butte where we got married, and it's a win-win.
We should renew your vows that day.
I think we're going to do that on year 10. We have 3 more years. I think that's what we'd like to do for our 10.
Well, we'll do it on year 10.
Yeah.
You got to ask yourself if we'll ever grow out of this shit. I mean, you just got to.
No, it'll never happen.
No, we're lifers. That's it. When we're dead, maybe that's about it.
They say when a man's a teenager, he looks at another fella's bicycle and he goes, "Damn, I'd like to have that bicycle. That's a badass bicycle." And then when he gets on up into getting about 16 or so, he looks at another man's car and says, "Damn, I wish I had that car. That's a badass car." And then he gets on up into his 30s and 40s and he looks at another man's life. He goes, "Damn, I'd like to hit that. Look at that one." Then when he gets up to be about our age, he's looking going, "How does that guy get that grass so green?"
That's for sure.
Well, I can't thank.
Get that grass though, Green.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
can't thank the
Well,
three
I think
of you enough.
you're right.
Go ahead.
What's
I'm
that?
sorry.
I said Heather's right. I mean, there it is. She just got her shoe in. It
Yes.
looks like both of them are coming to the chopper
Yep.
show.
Oh,
Well, I think so. Remember, we'll be there
Whatever she
Monday,
wants.
August 8th. That'll be it. You're going to have
Whatever
to come
she
over
wants.
there. Both of you will have to come over there. Now, I can't marry you, but I think that I can get Jesse up there to do that.
all right, man.
We're going to make this year count, and it's always good. It's always good to be invited to be on this show, and I appreciate you guys reaching out and extending the invitation to share with everyone that we're excited about another great year on the Full Throttle Saloon Pappy Hole Campground, and it just every year is bigger and better, and yeah, it's a lot that we do to try to make it bigger and better. But what really makes it bigger and better is the folks just keep on coming, and they
Yes,
spread
sir.
the word. And they tell their friends, and there's just so many people that are migrating and moving out there and staying with us. And again, I like to flatter ourselves. Michael likes to think it's because all the seventh wonder of the world attractions he's building, and I like to think it's because Jackyl's going to put on the best damn concert you ever seen, all that kind of stuff. But I really think it's because we got the best breakfast in Sturgis.
Something so simple.
Hey.
That and the best bike show on Monday.
Right.
You can't discount good breakfast.
No,
No.
not at all.
You can't.
But
You can't.
anyway, I can't thank the three of you enough for taking time out of your super busy schedules to come in.
That's
because
always a
we love
blast.
having you on.
Yep.
You guys
Sure is.
always have a platform here with us.
Yes,
Like,
sir.
Good. I'll be
anytime
here
you
next
want it, we'll give you a place to talk.
Yeah, so make sure you hit them up on social media. Obviously, the full complement of all the sites. You can check them out at fullthrottlesaloon.com. Head over to Instagram. Make sure you're following them so you get all the updates. And one more time, fellas, thank you so much for coming on with us tonight. We'll see you in South Dakota.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
Check out Jackyl. Thing will get all up in it now, or I'm gonna tell your mama on you.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Good night.
Guys, good.
All right, hey, man, you're watching Shop Talk. We're rolling on here with a great show tonight on Sundays. Thanks to the folks over at Dennis Kirk Motorcycles. We're going to take a real quick look at a feature bike. When we come back on the other side, we're going to get into the news on the Magnuson-Moss Act. Stick around.
Out of Focus is brought to you by Garage Build. Submit your build, share your passion. Powered by Dennis Kirk.
My name is Ron Zook. I'm from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Oh, it's a 1950 Triumph, originally called a Thunderbird, and it's reversed head. And I dirt drag race it. I built it about 6 years ago, and it's the first bike I showed, and now it seems to want to get shown. So I go to a lot of shows now with the bike.
What was it like when you first got it?
Oh, when I first got it, I bought a frame and a title and the engine plates. And then I saved parts up for maybe 8 years, buying them at swap meets. And then when I retired in 2012, 2013, I took a one winter and I built it. It took me about 6 months to do it. I was a tool maker. So it kind of helped out because the cams have to be completely retimed. And if you're not comfortable with dial indicators and degree wheels, you'll get lost, so. And I didn't know it was gonna, other people have done them, the reverse heads. I never saw one, so I knew it could be done. So I gave it a shot. If it didn't work out, I put it back where it was supposed to be. This was built in a one-car garage and a rec room, attached rec room. So I have a lift in my garage, and that's about it. Actually, after I retired, all I kept was my 9-inch lathe, and I have a couple friends that have a Bridgeport milling machine, so I don't need machinery anyway. So even though I made a lot of parts on this, there was a lot of lathe parts that I could do. They've been started the last couple of years up in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I think the next one is May 21st, 19th and 20th, something like that. You have to look it up. And it's just vintage bikes, vintage cars, and you race somebody for maybe 300 feet, 400 feet. And it's an old racetrack, an old cinder racetrack, the straightaway of it. So yeah, you race down the straightaway, this old racetrack, and it's more for fun than, you know, they put the tries with the Triumphs and the Sportsters with the Sportsters, and everybody just has a good time for 2 days. So, and the cars are really cool, old Model A's and Model T's, and you wouldn't think that they'd want to power shift them old cars, but they do, so it's pretty cool. The frame was stretched 6 inches in the back. That's how I bought it. And it just lends itself to some different, I don't know, I knew I couldn't go back to stock. So then I started building as a custom for myself, and it became kind of like, almost like an art project after a while. Everything had to be just right for me. And I redid things several times to get it to this stage, you know. So reverse motor, reverse head motor, extended frame. This is a seat that I helped make to keep my ass planted on the seat, and it came out real nice. It's probably 90% used parts in the bike. Tank is off an English motocross bike, a Tyran, obscure brand. I have the bike, and it just fit with the whole theme, you know. I like bikes when I see bikes that are built where you can look through them. There's not a lot to the bike. So I drag raced for years bikes, and that's the way all your bikes work. Nothing to them, you know. Just enough to get down the end of the track almost. My name is Ron Zook from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and I'm a Dennis Kirk garage builder.
Here, Bling Cycles. Just want to remind you, if you're going to Sturgis, please don't miss the Chopper Show. It's one of the best chopper shows ever. We give away all kinds of free stuff. Most of the time, I pick a bike for my BC Moto right from the lineup. Be safe out there. Thanks.
Whether riding takes you from A to B or just lets you escape, there's a flow to the road you share. So go with it. Eyes open, and always have the Law Tigers by your side. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, visit us at lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Okay, welcome back to the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. I'm your host, Chris Callen. We are going into the wee hours with Shop Talk tonight. Incredible weekend here, but so much to get through. And one of those things, we don't have, strangely enough, the news wire was dead for motorcycles this week. But the one thing that everyone is talking about, we actually brought this up, this news release from Dealer News, just for the purpose of this conversation. FTC takes action against Harley-Davidson. Federal Trade Commission has taken action against Harley-Davidson Motor Company Group, LLC, for illegally restricting customers' right to repair their purchased products. The FTC's complaint charges the motor company's warranties include terms that convey the warranty is void if the customers use independent dealers for parts or repairs. The FTC is ordering Harley-Davidson to fix warranties by removing illegal terms and recognize the right to repair and ensure that dealers compete fairly with independent third parties. Now, we're going to put that link up so that you guys can get into it a little more thoroughly. But what this is all based on is the Magnuson-Moss Act. And let me make sure that I'm actually saying that right. And there's good reference on Wikipedia for that. And this was a statute that was put down to make sure that, you know, obviously you can sell everything that you want to as is with absolutely no warranty. But if you're going to sell something with a warranty, to protect the consumers, this act came through that, you know, is going to hold the person that's offering the warranties feet to the fires. I've asked Poppy to stay on, so Steve Broyles we've asked to stay with us, but the person that brought this up to us for tonight for the conversation was Jason Holman from Cycle Stop USA, and we're actually going to bring both of these gentlemen in because what they do day in and day out is and has been affected by this forever. So we want to make sure that they give us the insight to pass along to you. How you guys doing tonight?
Very well, Chris. Thanks for having me on. Hey, Poppy.
Hey, what's happening, Jason? How are you, buddy?
I'm very well. I have to admit to everybody, I have vacation brain. I'm getting ready to fly to England in a day and a half, and but this is too important to not
do
talk.
Do you have your English voice on yet? Did you have your down there?
Not yet, but I can't wait for a good proper English breakfast.
Yeah,
right.
It's a toast.
So Jason, bring us up to speed from an aftermarket shop. You know, I mean, for you guys, day in, day out, both of you are fixing, repairing motorcycles, and this is something that's you're constantly bouncing up against the barriers of this all the time with Harley-Davidson's warranty and not wanting to void people's warranty, and the fact that the Magnuson-Moss Act has been there for so long, it should have been something that was keeping this from being such a difficult transaction between an aftermarket shop and a consumer with a Harley-Davidson product.
Yeah, so you know, early in my career, and Steve can attest to this. Like you choose a hill that you're willing to die on, right? And Steve was an ardent supporter of independent shops from an industry standpoint. Like I remember when I got into the business, I actually went to Steve's shop and basically I kind of wanted his blessing. I didn't need permission or wanted, you know, that way, but Steve can attest that I came in and I said, this is what we're going to do. This is what I want to do. And Steve said, as long as you do it under the, you know, the constructs of actually having a real business, then I have no problem with that. And I will help you all the way. And he has, and that was almost 20 years ago. And so the hill that I picked to die on, and I've written, I've been on the staff of Cycle Source now for a year and a half, 2 years. We did Torque for a year. I wrote for The Horse for 7 years, and I wrote for Chopper Build before that. And then there's been some little contributions here and there. I've always championed the verbiage that's in this law. And I've actually, over the course of my career, have had 4 or 5 customers that their warranties have been invalidated by the motor company. And I print the law out, highlight the part of the law that is invalidating their warranty, and they've all had them reinstated. And what I mean by that is, you know, you go to a shop like Steve's or you go to a shop like mine and we put a cam in and then your radio stops working or your blinker stop working. Harley-Davidson actually went to great lengths to invalidate someone's warranty because they didn't use their oil or didn't use their parts. And so this was, as an independent shop owner, this was the hill that I decided I was willing to die on. And I've written articles for I've mentioned him in magazine in articles for Cycle Source. I've mentioned it in The Horse. I've mentioned it in Chopper Build back when that magazine was produced as well. That this was an unfair practice, and there's several different pieces inside this law. And this law was put into place in 1975, like you said, Chris, and it was basically because John Deere Tractors was saying you had to use our belts, you had to use our filters, you had to use our aftermarket parts. And so guys like Steve and I have fought this to an end that we didn't think was ever going to see this. And I have to tell you, and I don't know, Steve, if you agree with this, this is, in my career, the single biggest thing that's ever happened from the standpoint of being a shop owner. And it's the single biggest thing that's ever happened for an economy that's built around, in our industry anyway, that's built around people being able to work on their own motorcycles and choose the parts that they want to put on there. I think this is the biggest thing that's ever happened that this came about. And
this is really big, Jason. I remember back when you came over to my shop, and actually you came to me with a problem that you had with a customer that you worked on his bike very early in your career, and he was having a warranty problem.
Yep.
And you called me about it, and you said, listen, Harley Davidson's not going to, and I'm going to say the word, Harley Davidson's not going to let them have his warranty, they say that I voided his warranty. And I pointed that out to you. I said, the Magnuson-Moss Act at that time was 1975, but and I think they revitalized it or reestablished it differently in 1982, but I can't remember that totally. The dates slip my mind, but 75 I know was the beginning of the Magnuson-Moss Act. And I gave that to you back then, and I said, you need to read this.
Right.
And where you found that, believe this or not, was on the backside of a K&N filter box. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. And I also remember, having to reword because it would say insert manufacturer here. And so we reworded that and put that on our website so that people knew that you had to be educated. And once you were educated, then they would back down. And so now, here's the cool part about this, Steve, is that I don't know if you had a chance to read all this, but there's basically 4 key components to this ruling that came down. And the Federal Trade Commission has been around since like 1911, and it was put into place because of the monopolizing of certain industries in the late 1800s. I believe it was the utility companies and some of the steel companies and the banks and that. But so the specific thing that happens here is when they invalidate the warranty using what is arguably higher quality than OEM, or at least meets OEM quality. There's 4 major components, and one of them is the restriction of consumer choices. So no longer can Harley invalidate a warranty if a consumer so chooses to go to Stevenson Cycle or go to Cycle Stop USA and use, for instance, S&S replacement lifters, right?
Yeah, or Andrews or anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so there's also the provision in there for it's costing consumers more money, because by telling somebody that their warranty is going to be invalid if they choose a third party or repair service, that it's potentially more expensive going through the manufacturer, which is incorrect. And I will tell you, when I bought my first brand new motorcycle, I remember 2 things they told me. I had to bring the motorcycle back at 1,000 miles or I would lose my warranty. And I couldn't use mobile gas. Those are 2 things that I was told when I bought my Harley Davidson motorcycle. And, I wasn't as proficient with the internet back then. I didn't know all the things that I know now, but those 2 things stuck with me. And then you go back and you have your 1,000-mile done at the dealer, which I'm not trying to besmirch a dealer. What I'm trying to say is it's the process that they've gone through in the indoctrination that they've created to where, I've been pushing this for a very long time, like 15, 16 years, trying to get this in as many people's ears as I can. And to have this finally, I feel like this is a big win, for shops.
It is a
like
very
us.
big win here, and you have an F license just like I do.
Yep.
Okay. And that's the whole key to that. Okay. Is you have your warranty done by anybody that has a licensed motorcycle mechanic,
right?
Okay? Just as you are, just as your shop was when you were up by me. And I made that, when we sat down, we talked, I said, this is what you need to do. Legitimize yourself, make sure that you have all the things in a row, make sure you have all your licenses, make sure all of that works for you, because this is going to be an important key in life as you grow bigger and expand where you're going. This is proven to be true. And what we found out here today is that, or this week, is that finally the Federal Trade Commission has come along and has finally recognized us. Okay, that the conglomerate or the big box store or the monopoly can no longer put a stop to a guy that wants to use our services.
You know what, man? I got to butt in for a second because before we pat the FTC on the ass at all for this, we want to remind people that this is 45 years after they laid down this statute to begin with.
Exactly. It is. It's more than that, actually. Yeah.
45 years later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'm not patting them on the ass. I'm saying that they needed to come with this a long time ago.
No. I'm just saying, like, this is based on not even, and they say it here in the document too. I also put the link up for the press release from FTC. But they say it in the document that this is as much about protecting the independent dealers and a healthy aftermarket, healthy competition in the aftermarket, as much as it is about protecting the consumers. That's got to be verbiage that both of you find refreshing.
Yeah,
it is. And that was one of the things that I wanted to say is that, and I'm glad that you asked Steve to stay on, because I was going to text him and ask him if he'd stay on, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't celebrating too early or overreaching. But this is the kind of thing, that Steve and I have worked on independently and codependently with each other, trying to keep a network of independent dealers so we at least share information and important things that when there's something to be shared. And there is a need for a level playing field. There is a need for competition. I've written so many things about that, and this is going to hold their feet to the fire with a cash fine. And they have created verbiage at the Federal Trade Commission level where they have to rewrite their warranty. They have to come clean with consumers and let them know that they can't even use the verbiage anymore at their parts counter, that their parts are superior. Like, that's written in this. Yeah. And these are civil penalties of over $46,000 per occurrence.
Right here.
And so, to me, this is, there have been things that have happened, and you're right, Chris, for this to go to law in 75, and I don't know who fought again. I don't know how many people complained. I just think that consumers were uneducated, and and I believe that company capitalized on that and marginalized the information, and that's just shows you how long it has taken to get this information out. And one of the great things that they did, and I would encourage everybody to, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, they have left a 30-day window, Chris, up to July 22nd. They want to hear from consumers. They want to hear from independent shops. They want to know about these things. And there is a line, there's an email, and there's a phone number that they want you to call. And I think they're pretty serious about this.
I'm looking.
It's right there. So the contact for consumers is right there. And if you look, there is, it says the commission to vote to issue the administrative complaints and accept the consent agreement was 5-0, which means it was unanimous. That there's a commission there that looks at this and makes sure that it's correct. And then continuing through July 22nd, 22, the commission will decide whether to make the proposed consent order final, right? So we're kind of in this gestation period where we need people. Listen, if you're an independent shop owner, I put this on my social media this week. If you're an independent shop owner, if you are a consumer that has a relationship like like I have with some of my customers, and Steve has with some of his customers. I mean, Steve's been doing this since 1969. Stevenson Cycle, it became kind of the juggernaut that it is today in 1993. This is a long period of time that Steve has worked with consumers, worked with vendors, worked with other shop owners like myself to mentor us to make sure that we were working above board. And Steve was very good about, if you weren't working above board, helping you once or twice. And if you're not going to get there, then you went away. And I don't mean, this is the kind of thing that this Federal Trade Commission legitimizes our aftermarket. And it's such a huge thing. So manufacturers, independent shops, distributors, media outlets like Source Media need to get involved in this and make this actually happen. We need to seal the deal. We need to lick the envelope, make sure there's a stamp on the envelope, do our part.
Hey, 1 second real quick, man. I want to bust in with some news coming out of Born Free. Nancy Weems, we won best competition at Born Free. Right on, man. Congratulations
awesome.
from all of us. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yes,
That's
sir.
great.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
So the point being is that it's just not we're busting Harley Davidson's chops, but they're the big boys on the block.
Yeah.
Okay. But this takes into consideration every motorcycle manufacturer out there, not just Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
This does Kawasaki, Honda, Suzuki, everybody. They can't hold the consumer liable to bring their bike to them.
Well,
Okay?
and you know what, man,
Or the warranty is voided.
I would argue this goes at the foundation of the American dream. I mean, I'm sorry, I come from a long line of mom and pop shop and store operators, and you know what I mean? And like, it's hard enough being the little guy. It really is. No matter what industry you're talking about, whether it's motorcycles, refrigerators, or whatever the hell it is that you're doing. You know, like this is the point why there's regulatory commissions involved in our government to begin with.
Yeah.
It's a shame that we need something like this to make this happen, Chris, but we've been vilified. And you had an independent shop for a while yourself in the early days of Cycle Source.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. Like, we're vilified by the factory. They don't sell us parts at Jobber. I still have the letter that was sent to me by Harley Davidson, the dealer.
How long ago was that, Jason?
That was in 2014 that I got that letter that they would no longer sell me anything, you know. And Chris, you know, because of my background with you, and Steve, you've known me for over half my life. I was in the car business for a long time at the dealerships. We sold parts to every other store around, and it kept money moving around. It kept parts moving around. We used each other as resources, and I think it's folly that Harley Davidson doesn't see the brilliance of opportunity and the brilliance of building consumer goodwill, because we could be a consumer too at the shop level.
You know, I think something that sort of bothers me a bit here also is that you said it was 45 years.
Yeah.
It took them 45 years to come to this conclusion. It took them 45 years to come to
and like Jason said, it was cumulative.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like really, what would you say, Jason? In the last 10 years, this has really started to heat up to where, you know, you hear all kind of stuff about ghost flag and VIN numbers and you know,
so with the technology, basically, Chris and Steve, you can attest to this too. Once the digital technician, once the Scanalyzer was no longer the tool of choice at the dealership level, the new digital technician, the thing that that Steve and I both had as independent shop owners is you would know somebody at a Harley dealer, so you'd be able to get a Scanalyzer tool, which allowed you to go in and actually do your job at a professional level on fuel injected bikes. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, follow the arc of this, that was a handheld tool that Steve has one. I had one, we don't use them anymore really, but that was the tool of the day. And you could get one if you knew somebody. Well, when the Scanalyzer went away and the new digital technician was ushered in, now that every time that the dealership opens, that's like live, right? So it's this, there's no way for a shop like myself or a shop like Steve to be able to be on a level playing field. And that's part of this FTC thing that's not, if you read between the lines, a fair, equitable chance to be competitive in a marketplace is going to require us to have the accessibility to tools like this. If you have a car shop and next door to your motorcycle shop, and they've got an AC Delco sign out in front of it. Mark, you know this too. Yeah. If they've got a Ford sign out in front of it, you're not going to get a cease and desist from Ford Motor Company or GM. You're essentially helping their clientele, right?
Them. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've gotten a cease and desist from Harley Davidson and threatening phone calls from dealer principals. And it's weird because something else, the name Harley Davidson is part of the public domain. They can't, the word Softail, they own that. But the words Harley Davidson, you can put a sign out in front of your shop that says, "We repair Harley Davidson motorcycles." When you put a bar and shield on it anywhere, then you cross a line. But, Steve and I have had to work tirelessly to move around this and to explain to customers, look, you can bring your bike to us. We're going to give you more options, probably better options. I guarantee you, I think better options than what the dealer's going to offer you, better oils, better clutch system, all of that stuff. And so at the very least, they're going to have to play ball on a level playing field at some degree. And I just need all of us to get this information out to the consumer, because
we're rocking up against Screaming Eagle parts is what they're pushing out to us.
Yeah.
Okay, their big performance level is Screaming Eagle. Now, to back up just for a minute, you talk about a digital technician. There are products out there, Jason, that you can get.
And we have them.
That will allow you to do what a digital technician does.
Yeah. So what Chris was saying, though, is that this is there's a proliferation of this seemed to be ramped up in the last 10 years. And what I'm saying is once the handheld went away and the dealership had a basically what I would call a closed loop system that only talked to other dealers and to the factory. Well, then you started getting these shadow flags at the dealership where you take your bike as a visiting owner somewhere, and if you didn't have stock stuff on it, they would flag your bike, and then you get home and find out that you had an invalidated warranty. That was actually happening.
Worse yet,
flagging warrant.
Or worse yet, you didn't find out until you had a claim.
So you had an issue, right?
Yeah. That's dirty. And they were I don't want to name the name, but I would tell you exactly who it was, where it was, and how it happened. But at a Harley dealer here, a guy that ended up leaving Harley and going to be a Western Power Sports rep was selling parts at the counter. There was a factory rep in there. This is in 2014 when I had the store in Tampa. And he called me to tell me that he couldn't believe what he just saw. The factory rep was there at the parts counter. Guy bought a motorcycle from the sales department. They do the walk around, introduce you to somebody in parts, introduce you to somebody in service. The guy bought what they call a stage 4, I guess. And the factory rep said that we're going to invalidate your warranty. Told the guy that while he was still in the dealership before he'd even taken delivery. Yeah. And that kind of stuff happened.
Hey, and I'll tell you what, let's talk about this for 1 second, just to step out of the motorcycle industry as an example of where this can go. And I'm going to firsthand experience this for you and go to Mercedes as an example. If something goes wrong with your emission system on a Mercedes Sprinter, it goes into a countdown mode, and you have 9 starts to get to a Mercedes dealer where Mercedes will hook their computer up that talks to Germany. And other than that, and I'm not even talking about a Mercedes dealer, you have to go to a Mercedes Sprinter mechanic.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that truck will shut down and you'll have that shit towed. So
the Germans.
And I mean that's
monopolizing is what it's doing.
It's worse than monopolizing, man.
Strong arming you.
It's punishing the consumer.
Yeah, it's strong arming you into going back to the, it's taken away from the little guy. And like Chris said, I come from a family. My parents were both self-employed their whole lives. And it's, taking advantage of the little guy is what it's doing. It's a shame.
Well, just trying to
it's a shame it took
them
45. Yeah, right. It's a shame it took the government or whomever 45 years to come to a decision to start putting it to a stop. That's even the sadder part. These are the people that are supposed to be working for you.
I don't think it's the government that took 45 years to come to this. I think it's the public.
Yeah, this is a byproduct of. I think this is a byproduct of 2 things. 1, trying to put a Harley Davidson in every garage, and 2, people having enough of it.
Greed, greed, and
there's the attrition of the dealerships. So now there's not a dealer. The dealer, if you bought a bike 2 years ago, there is a more than reasonable chance that the dealer that you bought it from, depending on what area you live in, the dealership doesn't exist anymore. There's shortages of parts. So the shortages of parts are creating a need for aftermarket components, and we're putting the aftermarket components on. We're doing a good job. I run a good tight ship here. Steve runs a good tight ship in Wayne, and the consumer's being penalized for that. So now they're actually calling in lobbying and complaint because they're being inconvenienced, and so it's drawing a light to it because no one ever listened to me or listened to Steve. We listen to each other, but the consumers don't. They think we're trying to sell them something.
Yeah, and they're the ones that should be paying attention.
Well, they listen right after they told them they don't have a warranty.
Right. Yeah.
Well, and here's another thing. Professional Monkey brings this up. There are a lot of manufacturers that have that tune up a turbo on a diesel Super Duty Ford and see what happens. And here's what happens, man. They do this under the guise of emission control. You know what I mean? Because these companies have gotten their balls busted so hard by the federal government over emissions violations, and I get that. But that's their responsibility. That's what they say. That's what you pay to play the game,
right?
You know,
Yeah.
Don't hate the player, hate the game,
right?
Right.
But here, Rob Nussbaum, I want to put this to both of you guys. Rob said, yeah, we'll see if they actually enforce it. 45 years to address it. Will it actually get enforced? I think that's what both of you guys are saying is like this is a call to action, not just for consumers, but for aftermarket part shops too, and repair shops.
Yeah, we need to, at the very least, send an email. There's an email in that link, and if just send an email, say, hey, you know, this is please pass this or whatever. I mean, how I will tell you that, you know, that's what, as constituents to a government agency, and we are constituents in this country, these are the types of of rights that we need to exercise, you know, and get involved, because it does affect you. And if if it doesn't affect you now, it will down the road. And if this window close, we don't want this window to close. We need for this to go through and see this to fruition.
Yeah, and not even for your business. I mean, in all reality, like you're saying, it's going to help your business, but you're talking about the warranties. You're spending $35,000-$40,000 here. It's not like you're dropping $20 and, you know, it broke, throw it in the garbage.
And the rule is the same across all manufacturers. If you buy, you know, Hoover got in trouble for this too. I believe it was Hoover or one of the vacuum companies that you had to use Hoover or their bags and belts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, and I should mention too, in all fairness, in this particular claim, this is Harley Davidson and Westinghouse at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Well,
good stuff.
Get your stove fixed.
We'll definitely we're going to put the official press release from FTC up on CycleSource news blog, cyclesource.com, so you guys can all check that out. Please pass it along to anyone that you know.
Share.
Yeah, share this information. Make sure that you're applying this call to action, and make sure that that this channel stays open. I appreciate
Chris,
both of you guys coming on.
Thank you for letting us be on here to talk about this. This is something that you know, just like things that happen in the media industry, this is something that Steve and I have worked tirelessly with deaf ears from a lot of people. And for this to happen, this is a big win for everybody. This is every aftermarket company that makes a part, every aftermarket shop that installs it. And this is really good. Honestly, this is good for Harley Davidson. At the end of the day, it's
well, it's
fair
good for motorcycling.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like it may not be immediately good for Harley Davidson, but it's good for the motorcycle industry.
Yeah,
it is.
You know,
I mean, look at the consumer. I mean, one thing, the shop, you know, you have your work. That consumer, that may be the only new bike he'll ever be able to afford to buy.
Ever. Yeah,
and
ever.
To cover his own ass.
They used to allow that, you know, back early 2000s. I mean, even before that, even before 14, you could go, they would sell you parts at a discounted rate for your shop.
Yep.
You could install them, and they still warranted the person's bike. So a guy would bring you a bike for a 2,500 mile inspection and tune up and oil change, and you could do the oil change and change the filters and go and so forth and service the bike and give all of his check marks off in his little book, sign your name to it, and that never voided his warranty. This only came around, like you were saying, Jason, around 14 when all of this stuff started to come to truth. This is where they started to try to slow the aftermarket shops down.
Yep.
It's exactly what it was. They thought by doing what they were doing, they were going to actually slow us down enough to put a big crunch in our pocket, is really what that was about. Yeah. And has it hurt? I think it hurt a lot. I think it hurt a lot of their people going, you know, I'll never buy another bike like that again.
Well, and listen,
what I want to do with it.
Professional Monkey brings this up right now. This is exactly what I'm saying about how this will be good for the whole motorcycle industry. He's saying this is going to be interesting. I have viewers daily tell me they want the S&S 475 cam in their M8, but don't want to void their warranty. How many times have the two of you heard the you're up against a wall with a customer that wants to make a purchase, wants to do something different with his motorcycle, but that warranty issue is keeping them from doing it.
Every day. This is a daily occurrence, and I have to explain to all of them what the Magnuson Moss is. It's not going to void your warranty. It's going to void your cam warranty, but I'm going to stand behind the cam warranty. If your blinkers quit working, that's the two things are mutually exclusive. And, I think we just need to make sure we stay the course, be mindful of it, and share the hell out of this
Awareness.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, I thank you both for coming on with us, and and I think Heather's here somewhere. She'll thank you too.
I took a little nap. It's all good.
Yeah,
It was
I could
awesome.
see that.
All right. Well, we'll keep everybody abreast of this. And Jason, please, as soon as you have more information too, feel free to get a hold of us again. Come back on and let's do an update on this. And anyone else that is out there that wants to help build this database on this, we'll keep passing this stuff along.
Thank you. See you guys in a few weeks in Sturgis.
All right, buddy.
I expect to see you on Monday.
All right, man. Hey, this is Crystal Cycle Source. You're watching Shop Talk in the Dennis Kirk Motorcycle Studio. We are way over time, so I think for tonight, seeing the weekend that we had and
I fell asleep twice.
What are you doing? What are your hand signals? What's going on?
Oh boy.
Wrap it up.
Oh, man.
This is my fun time with Mark, right?
Hey, we spent way too much time together this weekend. I don't even like you anymore.
Right? You've seen him more this week than you have in the last 2 months.
All right, listen, one more time, congratulations to Jared Weems. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us. Happy birthday to Ed. Really appreciate everybody that came to the house this weekend. Thank you again to Mark for running the run truck and keeping us all safe.
And thank Brian for the burger.
Brooks Paxton, thanks, Yins. All right, and thanks to Heather and Missy for doing all the work and the cooking and stuff and making this weekend great.
Anybody want any brisket or potato salad? Come on over.
118 Delaware. The address is in the magazine. I'm just saying. You guys do your best part to make the next weekend great. Go out in the garage today. Do something with your motorcycle. Get ready. If you need parts, get them quick from Dennis Kirk. That's all I'm saying about that. And until next week when we come back at you, same chopper time.
Same chopper channel.
Bye, Felicia.
We did it. We actually made it through.
We'd like to thank our sponsors for their continued support, and we hope you pay them a visit when you're in the market for great motorcycle parts, products, and events. S&S Cycles, McCooney American, Baco Parts, The Broken Spoke Saloon, Twisted Tea, The Iron Horse Saloon, High Seas Rally, Twisted Choppers, Twin Power, Drag Specialties, Geico, Law Tigers, Tech Cycle, Fueling Parts, Lone Star Rally, Hijinks Apparel, Progressive Insurance, Spectral Oil, No School Choppers, Motion Pro Tools.